Another man asked, because Prabhupada talked about how one could become an animal in the next life, and a man got up and said, gave the argument, so if we become an animal, if I become an animal, I'll have the consciousness of an animal, and so living as an animal I'll be happy as an animal. People sometimes give that argument. This man gave that argument. So then it will be all right. It will not be bad. So Prabhupada answered, he said, if it is not bad, he said, that is all right. But we do not think that kind of life is very nice. Man sat down. One time at an airport, Prabhupada was sitting with the devotees, and someone had brought some prasadam. And they gave Srila Prabhupada whatever it was. Prabhupada took a little piece. Now he said, now distribute. So we were sitting in the airport, so many devotees are there, so many other people were there. And so the devotee asked to the, who to distribute it to the general public. Prabhupada said, no, charity begins at home. At one airport departure, Prabhupada was sitting, and one devotee child was there, a young toddler. And this toddler began to explore. He started to go off and explore the airport, just took a few steps. Prabhupada said, oh, he is very brave. And then, after a few steps more, the child looked around. He didn't see his mother, and his face began to wither, and he began to cry. So Prabhupada said that's like our position, that we want to become independent, but then when we become independent, we're in so much difficulty. One time Achyutananda Maharaj sent an article of some discussions that he'd had with His Holiness Sridhar Maharaj. And this was very early in ISKCON, when Achyutananda and maybe two other devotees were the only devotees in India, ISKCON devotees. And he sent the article to Boston and gave a cover letter saying that this is what the article is, and Sridhar Maharaj is Prabhupada's Shiksha Guru, and here's the article. So Satsvarup Maharaj wrote to Srila Prabhupada that we have this article of Sridhar Swami, and is it all right to print? And should we mention that he's your Shiksha Guru, and so on. So Prabhupada said that yes, the article could be printed, that the conclusions are in agreement. So it's understood that if we publish something in our magazine, we endorse the conclusions. He said, but it should be B.R. Sridhar Maharaj. He said Sridhar Swami was another man. Sridhar Swami, of course, is the original commentator on Srimad Bhagavatam. So he said Sridhar Swami was another man. So it should be B.R. Sridhar Maharaj. And he said, tersely, he said, there is no need of mentioning Shiksha Guru in this connection. He'd written to Achyutananda Maharaj because someone had been canvassing him very improperly, trying to convince him that he needed a Shiksha Guru, namely this person who was doing the canvassing. So Prabhupada understood that this was an attempt to alienate Achyutananda from Prabhupada's connection and bring him into some other society. So Prabhupada told him to get out of there and sent him to Srila Sridhar Maharaj and had instructed him that if you're looking for a Shiksha Guru, he's a person competent to be your Shiksha Guru. Even I consider him like my Shiksha Guru. So that was the basis of the letter that Achyutananda Maharaj had written us. But then when it came to publishing in Back to Godhead, that he's Prabhupada said there's no need of mentioning Shiksha Guru in this connection. There were various things that Prabhupada didn't do that have somehow become institutionalized in ISKCON or conventional in ISKCON, and we can mention some of them. One is that it's become a fashion for, or a practice for devotees to chant their Gayatri mantra by taking their thread and placing it under their dhoti and then chanting. It seems that there was some statement in scripture, in a book someone had read, that the thread should not be visible and that you should cover it with your cloth, which I assume means with your top cloth. But anyway, it's become the practice for people to cover their thread with their dhoti. But Srila Prabhupada never did that. Prabhupada just took his thread and chanted. Sometimes he'd just keep his hand like that. Or you can see there's a picture in an old Easy Journey to Other Planets. Prabhupada just has his hand extended. You can see his fingers, his thread, everything. Prabhupada didn't put his hand under his dhoti to hide his thread.